Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Looking for Love. I'm your host, Trey Kearney, with my co hosts,
Lamar Hall.
and we are here tonight to bridge the gap between Generation X men and Generation X women to see what the miss is and how we can have happy, healthy, whole relationships from a male perspective and a female perspective with no bashing. We are just here to listen. We are not here to turn each other against the opposite sex. This is not a battle of the sex. This is all about us listening so that we can have healthy relationships. We are looking at a dynamic of couples just getting divorced, and it's a lot of this going on in Generation X because we have so many influencers and so many podcasts that are the men speaking to the women, pandering to the women, and the women pandering to the men, and everybody's getting to hear what they want to hear instead of hearing what they need to hear. And we're here looking for love on the New You Nation Network. And the question for me tonight to you is, are you looking for love and are you ready for it when it finds you? So, hey, Lamar, how is your week going?
It's going good, Trey. It's going good.
Good. Anything new? Anything new? Anything old?
No new. My daughter made a dean's list, so
That's good.
hey, I'm proud of that. So I'm all good.
Daddy and daughter.
She graduates in May, so that's the countdown's on. So I'm going.
Congratulations. Welcome to our TikTok family. When we get started, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. If you have any questions on YouTube, you can put them in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. If you have any comments for our people who wrote in, please feel free to share your comments. And we want to have a disclaimer here. We are here giving our opinions. Anybody who makes a decision to do what they're going to do, it is solely on them. We are not here on a psychological platform. We are not psychiatrists, psychologists. We are not doctors. We are here simply on this platform to have some awareness about what it is that we need to do as Generation X people to have healthy relationships. So everybody's decision is their own decision from their own mind. So we want to give that disclaimer because we don't want to be responsible for nobody divorcing, fighting, marry, all of this other stuff. We're just here to answer questions. So we're going to get started because the time be going fast.
Yeah,
so I asked him how his week was. My week was good too. So let me just say that. And I can't complain. Took my son to the doctor who's on the autism spectrum today, and he did very well. His dad came to help.
Good.
Kudos to him because, we have highs and lows in co-parenting, but kudos to him. He was able to get him out of the car. I don't know how that went because I was inside the doctor's office filling out the paperwork because we try to get him in because he doesn't like to go to the doctor so he can be aggressive.
Right.
So they came and they look a little disheveled. And I was like, y'all all right? But I was glad I didn't have to deal with it. But anyway, we are going to get to our topic today, and it is not co-parenting. But Lamar, you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Let me get my glasses. Oh no, we want to get to the BBL one first.
No.
Here we go. I want a BBL, but my husband is totally against it. I've always laughed in the back, laughing out loud, and it's been an insecurity of mine for a long time. I can finally afford it for myself. I can finally afford to get a butt, and I really want this. I'm 44, and I want to do it for my 45th birthday in August. He says it's crazy to risk my health with an unnecessary surgery, and he assures me that I look great. That's all good, but I really want to do this. He doesn't even like the looks of the BBLs either. I don't want it to affect my marriage, but I already feel the tension. His concerns is, what if he gets sick and it affects me in a negative way? We have 2 children who he's concerned about as well. I feel so much tension when the subject comes up. Do I or don't I?
I would first say is before you do any surgery, you should push yourself in the gym. You should give that a try first before you are willing. Why are you so willing to go under the knife? It's like go in, do the work, and you'll have more pride. And to be honest, I've never seen a BBL in person that looked good. So you probably Now, the only ones I see that look good, obviously are celebrities that get it done because they have the money that they can get it done. But the ones I see in the gym, don't do it.
Oh,
Don't do it. I mean, just There's exercises, ladies. You want your legs to look shapely. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. Does it have shape to it? Do your legs have shape to them? That's what a man thinks is
Well,
sexy.
it's her booty. She says she's always lacked in the back.
Listen, there's three muscles in your behind, and there are exercises just like a man that doesn't have a chest, because I was skinny and bony when I was a kid, and now I have shoulders and a back and a chest. That's from lifting weights. So you can develop it, and you'll be more proud that you did do it that way.
My concern is this for all women who want to have surgery. Have you worked on the inside? Have you sought therapy? Because if you have an insecurity about your butt and your husband says it's okay, what's the insecurity if the man that you're with is okay with it? Why are you insecure? Like, who are you trying to get a butt for? Because you can't. It ain't like you gonna be looking at it. So my question to her is, why do you want to get a butt, and where did this problem start from? When was the seed planted? Right? I think me and you talked about this. That my sisters used to tell me I had a white girl butt. No offense to white girls.
Just rolled off quick. That's all right.
But they used to say that to me, like when I was younger, when I was in high school, I was very thin and my butt was flat, but it's not anymore as I had children and all of these things. But that gave me some insecurities when I was younger. So where did this insecurity come from for her? Was it from an ex-boyfriend, an ex-husband? Did somebody say something to you? Because if your husband is telling you, you look good, if it's not him saying, or him looking at other women, or him cheating because your booty is flat, what is the problem? And again, the one thing I want to say here too is because people always want to talk about marriage and marriage is for better or for worse, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, for richer, for poorer, and all of that. So if you make a decision to get a BBL, and I want her to hear this, if you make a decision to get a BBL and it goes wrong and you're paralyzed, because when it affects another person, you have to really consider what's going to happen to them. Y'all have 2 kids together. You're 44. You're going to be 45 in August. If this affects you in an adverse way and you can't walk anymore, or you have a heart attack, whatever could have a stroke, whatever could happen. We see some horrible things. We seen a young lady who passed away that was married to the comedian that had the kids.
Yeah.
She passed away. So if you can't take care of yourself anymore because of a decision that you're making that's not necessary, and he decides not to take care of you, is he wrong?
I mean, there's a lot of things can go wrong when you go with surgery. So I just tell people, surgery should not be the first option. You know, it really shouldn't. And it's just one of those things that you just, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. So it's like, and then what you said is like, you're about to be 45. Your husband says it looks good. He's not cheating. So who are you doing it for?
Right. And my thing, my real concern is the risk worth the reward. If you get sick.
It doesn't sound like it. I mean, she has a husband that already thinks it's okay. You know, it's like.
My thing is something terrible could happen and he would have to take care of her. And that's not fair to him, because if something terrible happened to her, and he decided to walk away from her,
right,
or say, I can't do this. It's a lot of work being a caregiver. Like I did a caregivers podcast with some caregivers, and a woman who was a caregiver for her husband who had a bad stroke. So she really has to take care of him. And I'm a caregiver of a child on the spectrum. And this is not by their choice. And he's telling you, I don't want you to do this, right? And something happens where he has to be a caregiver and he decides to check out and say, I can't do this. Everybody's going to say, oh, you took a vow through sickness and in health. Well, for me, that vow means through sickness and in health, something that is beyond your control. Not you going out here and doing some unnecessary cosmetic surgery for whoever you're doing it for, because I don't think women do BBLs for themselves, because you can't see the BBL. I don't think
men don't really like them, and the women are creating this identity from these celebrities. And if we don't, like in Houston, you see them, but you don't see them. If you go to Miami and LA, you see them more frequently. And women, I mean, that's just like, I don't know what woman hoodwinked y'all to think y'all need long eyelashes.
They didn't hoodwink. You see me, honey. I don't
No, I'm
do.
just
I
saying, it's
don't,
like the eyelashes. Like no man looks and goes, "Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Look at those eyelashes." Nobody says that. It's like,
I'm
it's like
sorry.
that. I mean, and there's a whole industry that's been created by this playing on y'all, creating this fake, woman out there that y'all think is perfect. And I told my daughter the other day, I said, you know what is crazy is that a woman that wears her natural hair these days looks more beautiful.
Right.
I said it's crazy to think that, but it's like wear your natural hair and if you can, if you can wear it and it curls up or something like that, and you got all these different looks, you don't even look like the rest of the women out there.
Because they have the baby hair, and I'm
Yeah.
not knocking
Oh man.
anybody.
Oh, I had listen. You see, it'd be like baby hair start right here and go all the way your full.
I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm just listening from a male perspective, and I see
It is
some of the
not
comments coming in. So for the men who are listening right now, I always like to do a little survey to see if it's the majority or the minority, if it's a lot or not. So for the men who are listening right now, how do you feel about a BBL on a scale of, if you like a BBL, put in a 1. If you don't, put in a 3. If you like a BBL, put in a 1, and if you don't, put in a 3. Because I want the women to see that if we're doing this for men, right? If women say that we're doing this for men, right? Because that's what they say. They say, no, they say I'm doing this for myself. If the
Yeah,
women are
they
doing
always
it
say they're doing it
for
for
themselves,
themselves, but I
well,
mean,
because if this woman gets a BBL, right, it's only going to attract attention.
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, the probability of it not looking good is higher than she thinks. So I don't know how many you see in Jersey, but the ones I see, they look like wet diapers.
Oh no,
It is not a good look. And then the legs don't match, and then they want to go to the gym. It's like you should have started with the gym. Why did you do that? It's like I don't
right.
know. I don't
And
know.
another thing is like, again, like I said, you have to get your mind right around, first of all, why am I doing this, right? And then you have to go and you have to sit down, because we look at Khloe Kardashian, who has nipped, tucked, sucked, added, subtracted, multiplied, divided everything in her body, and she's still doing it, right? And this is no offense to anybody, if you're still doing it and you're not satisfied, when you start with the one thing, because for her right now, the one thing is the BBL. Then the next thing you know, it's my lips. If you
Oh,
haven't done the work internally, there's going to be a problem, right?
it's like you said, it's intern. You got to start with the inside. So I mean, you're absolutely right with that. And I don't know, it's a crazy. Listen, we are going to in the next 10 years. You're going to start seeing women age. Now you're trying to reverse age or halter it, and then all of a sudden it wins.
Right,
So and it's like we're going to see a lot of these older women that had these plastic surgeries, and they are not going to age very well because you're trying to halt something that's natural. Now,
right.
there are some cases where you've seen it where you might have skin hanging on your face or stuff like that. Okay, cool. I'll if that's what you want to do, but to naturally start doing stuff and you're not even nowhere near 50 years old, that seems crazy to me. It's like, and I get it, some races age faster or more harshly than others. And it just, it is what it is. But
We
it's
got all
okay.
threes in the chat. They all saying 3.
I'm telling
No,
you, I don't know very many men that like that. And I think you have to be a superficial guy that's in LA or Miami or New York, and that's becomes your norm pretty much, and you kind of just accept it. But I think if you had a choice, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm all for some fake titties, but they got to be done right. Don't make them look too hard and too round, and you go
that's another
from
thing that for women to consider too, the maintenance of these surgeries. Like I had a friend of mine who worked on women who, you got to get those things massaged.
oh,
You got to keep the skin loose. You got to be able to maintain a BBL. You have to be able to maintain the work that you're doing on yourself. just like a car. Like it has to be maintained.
If you've had kids and you need like a little lipo or this and that, okay, cool. But man, stay away from your face and your behind. Stay off of that, because if you don't get a great doctor, you see the horror of people that change their whole
But
face.
people are dying. Kanye's mother died. Like,
Yeah. That's major surgery, man. It's like, what do you just, man, go to the gym, just start with the gym and bust it. If you can walk away from the gym and go, I laid it all on the line here. But see, the problem is we are a society that just wants instant, and we want it now.
And like ladies are saying workout. And another thing I would say to her too, because her husband is uncomfortable for health issues, right? Have you sat down with your husband and done the research on the doctors? Because this is important. A lot of people are going to get cheap surgeries when what you really need to do is go do research on a doctor that you're working with so that you can see if there's any malpractice suits. You can see how many he's done. You can research, and maybe your husband will be more comfortable if he knew the research was done and that this doctor didn't lose any patients. So we wish you well, and we really want you to reconsider, at least, like Lamar said, let's say this. Maybe she can have a conversation with her husband and say, I'm going to go to the gym. Can we get me a trainer? Because if you can afford a BBL, you could afford a trainer.
Yeah, and tell him what you
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and you just tell him, say, listen, I need a butt, so a trainer will get you right, and you get your legs and your butt together. So I'm all for it. Go to the gym.
Go to the gym, honey. And again, please consider your husband's feelings, because if that BBL don't come out right, I'm not saying he's going to leave you, because if he love you and y'all got 2 kids, I'm just saying that you have to consider his feelings and the fact that he's expressed to you that he doesn't want you to do this one. And if something goes drastically wrong and he decides that he does not want to be your caregiver, it's really not on him, because anything could happen. And it's not an easy job being a caregiver to somebody who went and got a surgery that you asked them not to get. 2, please go get some therapy, because go figure out why you insecure about your booty and your husband saying you're beautiful. Because that's the only person it should matter to, is the person that you lay next to. The world will chew you up and spit you out, and not care about you with your BBL or without your BBL. And last thing, we're going to move on to the next question. Consider your children. Is the risk worth it? Are you willing to risk your life and leave your babies behind for an ass? Excuse me, Lord. But are you willing? Like, that's my thought right now. Like, I don't like surgery. I don't like anesthesia. I don't like none of it. I don't like the whole process of none of it. The thought of it is scary to me. So if I don't have to get surgery, it will never happen. So you want to go to?
Let's go.
Let me ask you, you want to go to DR or you want to go to a ghost?
Go to DR.
DR? Okay, let's go to DR, people. Uh-oh, this one is a good one too. Bachelor party in DR. My man wants to go to a bachelor party in DR for the weekend. I've heard horror stories about what goes on over there with the women. I asked him not to go, but he insists on going. We've had an incident with him cheating. He claims it was only text, not physical. So I can admit I have some trust issues. If he goes, I think I'm done. Has anybody else heard stories about men vacationing in DR? Are my feelings valid, or am I overreacting? I done heard stories about DR.
Yeah, I mean, I have too. I've never been.
Well, thank God.
But he sounds like he's ready to cheat anyway. So I was like,
why he sound like he's ready to cheat? Because he want to go to a bachelor party.
I mean, he just sounds way too excited, man. I mean, he's just like, I don't know. He just sounds way too excited. So, but I mean, so okay, let me get it right. So she doesn't want him to go to his friend's bachelor party.
Right.
Man, you can't do that. You're gonna make him look horrible in front of his boys. You might as well find a whole new group of friends.
Don't nobody care about nobody looking horrible in front of their boys. Like,
nah, but I'm just saying, it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know how old they are, but let a man be a man. You got to trust your man. It's like, if you we go back to this. We said this before. Can't nobody make me cheat. I'm going to cheat because I want to cheat. Ain't nobody putting me in no situation. I can walk clearly out of any situation if I don't want to. So it's just where's he at? Is he a recovering alcoholic? And he's just like, yeah, don't hand me no drink. Don't pass me no drink. Like, I mean, you got to know where you're at in the situation. So if he knows he has a greater potential to cheat, then he just got to go to his boys and be like, listen, man, you could put me in a bad spot, and I don't know if I'm strong enough to deal with it. His boy has to respect that. But it sounds like that's what they're going to do wherever they go. They just picked the DR.
Jam said if he's going to cheat, he'll cheat in the U.S.
Yeah, he's going to do it anywhere. So it's not even about that. He said, now, I mean, I guess it might be easier in the DR because you're paying for everything. But, I mean, I don't know.
You're paying for everything. What the heck?
Oh yeah, you can buy a girlfriend for a week. It'd be like $200 or some shit like that. It's like, yeah, they all look. From what I heard, they look ridiculous, and I'm just like,
oh no. Tyrone said the stories are all true. Hold on, let me look. Hold on, fellas have been to the DR. Are the stories true? Help a sister out. Not if he's cheat before. Are they married? She said my man, so I'm not sure if they're married. This is my thing with this question. I think my relationship is more important than a bachelor party. I know that's right, Tony. Tony said his relationship is more important than a bachelor party.
Well, it just depends on how old these people are. We got to start telling people they got to give us some ages, because our decisions can be altered by the age of the person. Now, if he's my age and wanting to go, as opposed to somebody being 30 wanting to go, it's two different scenarios there. So
this is my thing. This is my thing. And I'm going to say this, and I just need her to hear me. You don't trust him. Your relationship is already fractured, because you said yourself, I can admit I have some trust issues. We've had an incident with him cheating. He claims it was only text, not physical. So I can admit I have some trust issues. If you can't get past those trust issues, you might as well let him go to the DR, because your relationship is already over, because you don't trust this person. There is no, for me, I'm speaking for myself, but there's no relationship without trust. Trust is oxygen to your relationship. If you have to worry about your man going outside, you need to let him go. People ask me when I'm, a lot of times people ask me, Trey, when is the relationship over? And I say, relationships take work, right? We all know that relationships take work. We have to work on our relationships. When your relationship becomes a job, when you have to be the CIA, the FBI, the babysitter, the chauffeur, when it becomes your job and you can't focus on your life, it's time to go. And if there is no trust and you're not willing to give the person the opportunity to rebuild that trust, sis, like, you worried about him going to the DR, then you should be worried about him going around the corner, because like Jam said, there's vaginas at his job. There's vaginas at the supermarket. There's vaginas at the gym. There's vaginas at the club. There's vaginas your next door neighbor. So if there's no trust, boo.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, it's only going to cost him $200. You're going to have a supermodel for a week. Hey,
that's what these passport brothers is doing. They going over and paying $200 for a woman.
Or more. I mean, I'm sure that at some point the product will get smarter and be like, hey, I'm undervaluing myself, and inflation will happen. But guys that don't normally attract that level of woman can go over there and pay for it, and it's okay. It's accepted in that neck of the woods.
This is what kills me about the passport brothers and over in other countries where people got to get their passport and all this stuff. Y'all say y'all want to be passport brothers or y'all want to go to another country to get a woman, because women over here, American women, y'all, expect us, we want a man that's going to take care of the house, right? Just say, for instance, we want a man that's going to take care of the house, pay all the bills, right? just the basic necessities, right? The mortgage, the lights, the water, just the basic necessities, and the rest of it, sister girl can handle or chip in. If a woman says that, that man is talking about, oh, I'm going over to DR or I'm going to get my passport. I'm a passport brother. These women are gold diggers. But you're going over there and paying these women astronomical amount of money, but you're willing to give them your money, but you're not willing to give a woman in a relationship with you security.
He's the thing is he's experiencing something totally foreign to him. This is something new. Western women have been sold a pipe dream. They have corrupted generations of women, making y'all believe on this being feminine, being a boss, being this. I mean, and it's you got to look at it, and it's done through music. So you got to look, when we were kids, what was the rap message? What was the conveying message? We had a very short period of time where it was about unity and love and brotherhood and this and that. And then all of a sudden that X-nay that shit real quick, and then it turned into gangster rap and they start killing everybody. So you got to look at the music. And this is the first time that the female is the star. And look how they're portraying the female in music now. Not just rap, just in music. Everything is sexualized. So
Right.
it's just like,
but they're going over there to get sex.
Yeah, but they're getting a level of woman that they can't attract. He might be a 5 over here. He's never been in a room with a 9 or a 8 or a 9. He's never been able to do that. And he can go over there and she's speaking Spanish to him and she looks like she's thick like a sister. Some guys never had that, so if they can't get it in the West, they got to go somewhere else. I mean, I got a buddy of mine, he likes Asian women. That's all he likes is Asian women. And he's not black, he's white, but I'm
not mad at anybody. I'm not mad at anybody for their preference. This is the thing about me with the passport brothers or men that talk that passport stuff, because half of them can't even afford the talk that they talk. And so they don't even really bother me. The part of it that bothers me is when you're saying you're doing it because of me, or because of black women and all. No, you're doing it because you want to be around those women that you can buy, right? You're doing it because it's not me, because all women, Western women, if that's what you want to call us, there's a lot of us that are loving and kind and feminine and gentle, and we just have.
But there's not that many. It's not that many of you.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I've dated. No, there's not.
But you've been dating younger. You just stepped up.
No, I've been. Listen, I've had more conversations and gone on more dates and had more relationships than most men with women. So I had to learn. I didn't know anything about women. So I took it as upon when I meet you on a dating site, we talk, I go out on a date. I'm learning women this whole time. And if I'm telling y'all, I said it before, is that if y'all knew what other women weren't doing, it would be the ones of y'all that want men, you would be able to snap them up quick. But the whole thing is that men and platforms that are talking about men, then it turns into, oh, men are being babyfied. They want to be women now. And no, it's not. It's that there's a certain select group of men that most women want. And they want every man to fit in this mold. And every man can't be in that mold. So you drive the price up of these fictitious men, the 1%ers. Most women haven't even been in a room with a 1%er. So it's like, you talking about you want one? You never met one. They don't hang out at the local club. It's like you're hoping for something that just, it's not real. And then you don't want to do the extra work. Men are visual. So why would you want to look like everybody else? Why wouldn't you take care of yourself? That's what it's going to get a man to stop and go, hey, how you doing today? How's your day? And then from there on, it turns into, can I talk to you? Do we have anything in common? But he's not stopping if he doesn't see any type of thing visually pleasing to him. That's how we.
I think a lot of the problem too is because I'm going to speak for Generation X women, and that's why we're here to get understanding from the Generation X male perspective and the Generation X female perspective. I'm going to speak for the Generation X women that I deal with, like, and I deal with a lot of women because I coach, and I deal with a lot of women in my family, and I deal with a lot of women because I host events, and I deal with a lot of women because I do conferences and all of this. I'm around these women, and media has put it out there, right? So just say you dated 100 women, right, in your lifetime, or even 1,000. That's not a lot of women out of millions of women to put us in this basket of Generation X women don't do this, they're not feminine, and the majority of them are this and that. When I know that I'm around women who are in conferences, who are soft. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm around some women who be talking that I don't need a man and all that boss stuff, and I'm telling them you're gonna clam up with that when you need a man, because you're gonna need a man. But sometimes it has to happen for that person. I just don't want us as men and women, because I tell women the same thing. How many men have you actually dealt with? How many Black Generation X men have you actually dealt with to say the majority of Generation X Black men are this? Even if you dealt with 1,000 Generation X Black men out of millions of Generation X Black men, you cannot generalize Generation X Black men based on your level of reach, and none of us can. So this is why I always encourage women that I'm coaching and men that I'm coaching. Each person that you come in contact with, you have to let go of the facade, and you have to let go of the past, and you have to let go of the experiences that you've had with the 100 women that you've dealt with. And we talked about this on our after hours with me and you and Kim, that I've only been with 3 men. So if I said all men are this because these 3 relationships didn't work, I'm crazy. So I have to clear the slate in my mind of those 3 men. So for the women who've been out here with 100 men, 1,000 men, you might run into a dude that's the best dude ever. And based on the lens that you're looking through, your experience, you want to say all Black Generation X men, and you're listening to these influencers who want you to buy their books, only to find out that that they're cheating on their wives. So we have to get back to dealing with people as individuals. Like, I don't want a man coming up to me as a Black Generation X woman thinking that I think I'm a boss and that you just waiting for the boss to come out in me. Because I don't consider myself an alpha female. I don't consider myself a boss, like the term boss. You know what I'm saying? So I just would like for us to change the dynamic just a little bit to start dealing with each other as individuals and walk up on people with a clean slate.
And you try to approach it like that, but we all have triggers, and I told you that's one of
You
my
gotta deal with your triggers though. That's
one of my
not my fault on the other side of your trigger.
No, but I'm saying is like I don't go into it thinking that, but if you start
Right.
showing me masculine energy and if you say the word boss, I'm already my hand's already at the door. I'm gone later.
You can't even say the word boss.
No,
Dang.
no.
Listen, y'all ladies, don't use the word boss. Now we are here to learn.
And
right?
bro, don't say bro either. That's a young girl thing. Don't say that. That is the dumbest. I don't know why young girls do that.
Because that's their culture. That's what they hear on videos and all of that. And again, I just want the women to hear what you said, Lamar. Ladies, there's trigger language, boss, bro. These things that we have to be mindful when we're using them when we're not around because sometimes we may say these things when we're with our girlfriends, our good girlfriends, or in a room full of bosses, and everybody's saying stand up bosses, say I'm a boss. We got to make sure we're in the right environments when we're using the right language. And it's not code switching or being fake. It's just knowing who you're dealing with so that you don't turn a man off that you necessarily want to be with.
A man that is a different man. I'm not going to say this 1%er because that's not fair. So we'll just say top 10% of men got a good job, takes care of himself, blah, blah. Men don't want that masculine energy. We really don't. And when you give that out, you want to be the man. It's like, man, it's like two rams that got to tussle horns. You don't want to do that. That's not what it is. You know how you would get a man is just, if y'all sitting around watching TV, he lay his head in your lap and you just rub his head. Be gentle, be feminine. It's so easy, but yet a lot, I don't, and I just have to say, a lot of people have just missed that boat. They have, and that's why when you meet a woman that does that, you go like, "Whoa, this is different." Because if you are a man that has dated women, when you find somebody that's different, you're like, "Whoa, this is different right here." And I would tell women all the time, be feminine, be soft. Don't try to be his homeboy. Just like be a
Well, I'm
soft.
homie love a friend.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
I'll
but
be up
I'm
and
just
down
saying,
with a
but
football
you're,
game.
but
I
you're
will
not
be jumping up and
you're
down
not
with a football game.
challenging. You're not
Right.
challenging like that. You're not like talking to me like like what up, oh, like nah.
No, I'm not.
I
I'm not that homie level friend like that. But no, and seriously, but we're not gonna go off the cuff because we could lose our way and we could just go real left. But seriously, I just want the men to understand this about us as women. A lot of us have lost that because of trust from other relationships. So when I am dealing with women, single women, or women who are coming out of relationships, I'm trying to get them to not look through the lens of disappointment from another man, because another man shouldn't have to be punished for somebody else's past. And it's hard because we're humans. So like you said, men, there's triggers. Like when you start moving a certain way, it's like, oh, okay, I remember the last chick, and that language don't work for me. So we have to be mindful that we have to, one, deal with our triggers from things that we've been through, and two, ladies, it's hard for us because we've been disappointed by our fathers. We've been disappointed by relationships. We've been disappointed by jobs. But we have to let that go. And that's really where the healing comes in. That's really where the coaching comes in. That's really where the counseling and the therapy comes in. And a lot of women go to coaching, counseling, and therapy to go back and tell the person or the people in their home what they learned at coaching and counseling, for them to do it instead of using what the coach, the counselor, or the therapist told them to do. Because it was for you. It wasn't for you to come home and tell Lamar, my therapist said, because I'm serious. I've learned this from coaching women, that they come and like, I told my husband that and I'm like, the therapist your husband wasn't there. You went to therapy for you, not to come home and be a therapist. Like, you didn't go to therapy to be the therapist, to come home and be a therapist.
she believes she ain't going because she needs work. She going because she's trying to help him.
Right.
It's
And
too
it's
many.
the same thing with brothers say about church.
What they say about church?
They said, men told me, why should I go to church when it ain't working for her? She come home, church says be loving, kind, patient. No, this is what the men told me.
No, I mean, it caught me off guard, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah, Demon. He's like, several men have said this to me. My girl want me to go to church, but I don't see a change in her from being with Jesus. Like, she cursing, she drinking, she doing stuff, she talking to me all crazy, but she trying to get me to go to church. And I don't see church helping her. And I'm just saying this for the women. If your man not going to church because he's not seeing a change, like the Spirit, the Holy Spirit hasn't you, because you still acting like the people of the world. So why should I go to church if you still not delivered from the devil? Right? This is what men tell me, and women get mad at me, and I'm just like, he don't want to go to church because you are not a great representative of Christ, and you still out here being worldly, but you telling him you need to go to church, and he like, what's it to me going to church and watching football if it hasn't changed your behaviors? So I'm not going to church to come back home just to say we went to church. I don't see a change in you. So I'm telling you, like, we really can't be expecting people to do stuff, go to therapy or go to church, and we coming from therapy still acting a fool because it ain't working for you. Or maybe it's the therapist, or maybe it's the church.
The most powerful thing is, and why men like to fellowship with other men through sports and things of that nature, because you start to get together and you tell your stories and you start looking and go, oh, I'm not the only one going through it. I'm not crazy. And I think these platforms are starting to let men know, yo, like, we're not really the problem here. You know, there are some bad apples, there are some situations, but for the most generalization, the average good, you know, dude, 9 to 5, makes $60,000 a year. He's a good dude, and he gets overlooked. And I think that these guys are starting to go like, okay, man, you know, and every guy's not gonna have high value. It's just not. And that every woman isn't high value. So why does every woman think that they should have high value if there's already a limited supply?
Well, let me say this about high value, because high value for me is something different than high value, right? So a high value man to me is a man of integrity, a man that can control his penis. A high value man to me is not the amount of money that he has, right? Everybody wants a man that can take care of himself and that lives a decent life, right? But a high value man for me is a man that can take care of himself. He lives a decent life. He is a man of integrity, right? I don't have to worry about him embarrassing me because he won't embarrass himself. That's high value for me. Not that he has on Gucci shoes.
No,
Or
no, no.
yeah.
You're spot on. You're absolutely spot
Right.
on.
So a lot of women think high value and they think a lot of money. And again, I'm never saying that I don't want a man that's self-sufficient in a good space in his life at my age. Because again, I'm 54. I'll be 55. So any man that I run into that is 45 and over should be established to some degree, because you had enough time. You passed the phase of I don't know what I want to be. You passed the phase of, I call it the Ralph Cramden syndrome. Remember Ralph Cramden on Honeymooners?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to start all these businesses. He wanted to buy the train. He wanted to do. Remember, he wanted to do all this stuff. You can't have the Ralph Cramden syndrome at 45. Like, you have to buckle down and say, you know what? And I'm never trying to defer anybody's dream, or I'm never trying to slap nobody's passion. But at 45, if rapping hasn't worked for you, I'm not saying stop rapping. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not saying stop rapping, but I'm saying there's something else that you need to do while you're still working on your rap career. Like, you really need to be.
That goes anything in the entertainment field. If it
Right.
hasn't gotten there by 30, 35, you might want to really kind of consider that as a hobby now, because
I'm not even saying a hobby. I'm just saying
I mean, you got to do something to pay the bills. So
right,
I'm just like,
to
you got to do
sustain
that. But I'm
you.
saying, and you can still do it on the side and sing locally and do whatever you want, because I know creative people have to get that energy off of them. So that's fine. But you can't be talking about you're going to be the, you know, next Nicki Minaj or something like that at 40 some years old, man.
Right.
Like,
You can't be in the studio all day, every day, and not sustaining yourself as an adult. Like, I'm saying, you can go to the studio at night and you could go lay tracks, but if you if you with a woman and she got to keep footing the bill, eventually she's going to lose respect for you, and she's going to start wandering off to somebody else. Because again, I'm never trying to cut anybody's dream, okay? Because I have a whole network that I'm running right now, but I have a coaching business that, because I got to pay bills. You know what I'm saying? I have a career. Like, you have to know when to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I got to make sure I'm doing this. Maybe I'll manage somebody who has a career so I can still be in the field or whatever. But we got to make sure we ain't playing games with ourselves. So, our time be winding down fast. You think we got time for one more question?
Yeah, we got one more. We got one more.
Okay, let's do one more. Oh wait, let me see some comments. A career versus a job to job. Facts. Hold on. Right, I'm back. I was in hospital. Love you, Trey. Love y'all too. That's right. You high value yourself, not what others think. Okay. That's when a person doesn't practice a sacred place between a man and a woman. Hold on. Women had Oprah for 20 years. The church as a whole needs to present an alternative to what the world society has to offer. Our biggest problem is that we follow society's rules, whether we believe it or not. Okay, we're going to get to our next question. Thank you for hosting this positive space. Thank you. Welcome. So, my fiance, who I've been with for 4 years, lost his first love 10 years ago. So on her 10-year anniversary, on the 10-year anniversary of her death, he did this big tribute on social media. He released balloons and everything else. Her 50th birthday just passed, and of course he wrote this message that I thought was completely inappropriate to her on Facebook, saying, "You will always be the love of my life. No one can ever take your place. I miss you every single day," and a whole bunch of other stuff. He does this every birthday, their anniversary, and holidays. On Valentine's Day, he buys both of us flowers. I've told him several times after comforting him for the first 2 years this happened that I'm uncomfortable with this. He always gets mad and gives me an attitude or the silent treatment, then tells me I'm insecure to be jealous of someone who's not even here. I thought this would stop eventually, especially after we got engaged. How do I compete with a ghost? My question is, am I being unreasonable or is this out of line?
Okay, so we talk about identifying red flags and triggers and things of that nature. The fact that you are 4 years in and engaged, come on. I mean, the first time that happened and you felt that icky feeling inside of you, you should have been able to walk away. So this is your fault. You should not even be in this space with this man. You know, this should have been over with a long time ago. And that being said, if you're okay with always being number two,
Mm,
then suck it up, buttercup.
wow. This is what I'm gonna say, and this is from my coaching perspective. He's still grieving. He hasn't gotten over the loss of his first love. And
Yeah,
any
absolutely.
woman that came in contact with him and he put a post up 2 years later of "nobody will ever replace you," like that is definitely a time to run. He's not gonna stop, and then he's still resisting
Yeah, I mean, come
after
on.
4 years.
She listen, there must not be a lot of suitors because she settled because she knew right then and there the first time that he did something like that. That's not something that you have to deal with in a relationship. So I think that all of us would run in that situation. I think most people. So there has to be a reason why she decided to put up with that. You know, it's like, did you want a relationship that
That bad,
bad that
right?
you overlooked that big of a red flag? Because that's like, I mean, I don't know anybody that would be like, yeah, I'm cool with that. You know, and
Right.
let's say you missed the first time. But definitely by the second time, and I'm definitely not going to be with you for 4 years and get engaged to you.
But I think about Cassie, right? That was with Diddy,
Mhm.
even though that whole thing blew up. But I think about how he used to do this to her with Kim Porter. Like he used to post these big, fabulous, "you the love of my life," and put out these videos. And I'm like, I feel some kind of way for her
Right.
that you're putting out that you were everything. Like you're saying, like basically, like if she was alive, like I'm
Yeah, you
like
wouldn't be here.
the only reason why you're with me is because you lost the love of your life. And I understand. I don't, and this is not to offend anybody who's a widow or widower. But if we have anybody in the chat who has lost a loved one and moved on, you can share with us for you what that looks like. But I believe when people hold on to things, it's because they're not emotionally available to move forward. That's like even with somebody that's still alive. Like if
Right.
you still saying stuff and doing stuff, like, nah, I need you to be done with that. Like I don't want to be somebody's consolation prize
Oh
because
yeah. I mean, like I said, if she obviously she wants to be married, you know, they're engaged. She's putting up with something that she knows doesn't feel right. So if you're okay with being second, then you shouldn't be complaining about it.
right. So she said, is she overreacting? So we're in our opinion, our humble opinion, I don't think you're overreacting because I would never ever and imagine not that we really care about what other people think, but imagine your friends reading this. You will always be the love of my life. I miss you every day. Like, and the other thing that bothered me is like he buys them both flowers on Valentine's Day, and she's been gone for 10 years. Like he's suffering in silence. And one thing I'm gonna say to her, I would say, suggest to him when you're leaving, because if get help, and if he's willing to get the help while you're there, if he's really like willing to get help to understand
But
why this is a problem, because to say that you're insecure and you're jealous of somebody that's not here, uh
he's clearly hasn't dealt with something. But do you want to be with somebody who wants to work on that? I mean, clearly let's just say he does go and gets therapy and stuff like that. You still know you number two. He just ain't dealing with it no more.
But right, but he hasn't gotten the help that he needs to heal. So I'm
But
not saying
she just doesn't want the behavior like the posting and the flower. But
right.
other than that, she's okay.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Go get the help that he needs.
They're only dealing with it 2 times a year. I mean,
no, she said birthdays, Valentine's Day, their anniversary. That's a lot to watch somebody.
It amazes me what people put up with in relationships these days.
I'm not sure if they have kids, because there's a different dynamic. Not even if they had kids, because after 10 years and you're going to marry somebody else. Again, I would say this: he sincerely needs help. Like, he really misses this person. He's really grieving this person on a regular basis. If he really is missing this person every day, you don't have a chance at having his whole heart. And everybody deserves to lay next to somebody who wholeheartedly loves them.
That's tough.
And not just because of the one that got away. Because I wrote about that in my book, right? I have a book called It's Healing Time, Men Hurt Too. And I wrote about that in my book, The One That Got Away. Because there's a lot of women laying next to a man. And the only reason why she's laying next to him, because the woman that he really wanted, he dogged her so bad, so she's the one that got away. But if she ever came back, he would be with her. And I tell people all the time, when you're ready to date is when, if the person that you last broke up with came back and wanted a chance with you, would you go back? If you cannot say no, you don't belong dating nobody else. Because I've been in a space where I had to stop because I still wanted to be with my ex. And I didn't want to bring nobody in that dynamic, because I knew if he rang that phone, baby, I knew I was going to be running to the hill. I knew I was going to look at old boy next to me and be like, gotta go. So if you feel like, if the person that you were trying to heal from, or the person you broke up with that you didn't necessarily want to break up, or however it ended, if they came back tomorrow and knocked on your door and said, I would like to give this another try. If your answer is not absolutely not, bro, heck no, sis, then you need to pump your brakes, and you shouldn't be dating anybody right now, because it's not fair to the person next to you. Because people spin the block, Lamar.
Hey, listen, I've been on both sides of that scenario, okay?
Ooh.
So been on both sides. So
have you? I haven't. I haven't been on both sides.
I have it, and it doesn't feel doing it, and it doesn't feel good receiving it. So,
right.
So it just,
I like that.
It's part of the game, and you gotta, what it did. It required me to really sit down and face it. So and some good came out of it. So at the end of the day, it was necessary to grow, because, like I tell you, anytime you're uncomfortable, that's when you're growing, or you're trying to grow.
Right.
So either you're going to fight it, or you're going to be like, hey, I'm going to recognize this. And I played it over and over and over. And, I thought about it different. I feel different about it now. So. And
I like that. I like the message of get the message and get the healing before you move on. Because I say this often to my clients. A breakup is a death of a relationship. And you're losing somebody. So you're going to go through the grieving stages. So if you are grieving, if you are stuck in a stage of grief, whether it's denial, anger, depression, bargaining, whatever, we be bargaining with God, like, God, please bring him back while we laying next to somebody else. But if you are in any stage of grief, because a breakup is the death of a relationship. And if you have not gotten to acceptance, I accept the fact that this is over and me and this person are never going to be together again. This is the same thing with this man. He has a physical death, and he's stuck in the stages of grief. Sounds like to me he's in denial. Sounds like to me he's in depression. Sounds like to me he's in bargaining with God. We have to make sure when a person loses somebody that they have accepted the fact that it's over. Because if not, we're putting ourselves in a bad situation. So we have to ask people questions. And this is a lesson for all of us, Lamar. Single folks out here, listen to me. If you run into somebody and they've lost a loved one and they've lost a wife, a fiance, a first love, you need to ask some real questions. What did you do to heal from that? And if they don't have an answer for you, and you see them start posting on birthdays and stuff, I'm gonna need you to learn the lesson.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That person needs to heal.
Yeah, and she needs to be honest with herself that why am I accepting this after 4 years of this person really truly embarrassing me?
Yeah, that's for the time period that she knows. I mean, when she asked the question, she knows the answer to this already. It's just
I'd be embarrassed if my man was posting on social media. And of course, we all say, I don't care what people think. But if my sister and my brothers and my friends are reading and say, like, yo, Trey, like, what's up with this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, he talking about the love of his life. Like, what are you? Like what you getting ready to get married to this person and the love of their life that they think? Mm-mm. So, sis, none of us are telling you what to do. But one, if you want to stay with him, I'm going to say this because sometimes we love a person. Make sure that brother's getting some help because he does not care about how you feel. That's a major red flag. He does not care about how you feel because of the person that he lost. And if I was you, I would consider that wholeheartedly. So let me read some comments. Hold on.
Okay.
He lacks discretion and has extremely poor judgment. His actions are beyond red flags. Run. Most women aim for weak men. Where did that come from? It's selfish of him. He shouldn't be dating. Right. I see it like having a broke arm. Once you get it fixed, it heals. It's not broken anymore. True. We can love people and still not talk to them. I know that's right. Yeah, I love a lot of folks I don't talk to. And no, I don't mean it like that. Don't judge me. Somebody's got to do it right. That's not unity. Hold on. Like you said, yeah, she's getting something out of it. Like Lamar basically said that. She's getting some. Why are you staying there? We stay in toxic relationships where people are doing stuff to us that doesn't feel good to us because we're getting something out of it. Like, is he paying the bills? Like, remember?
I mean, or maybe this is her last opportunity at marriage. I mean, maybe she's never had an opportunity to be married before, and she has this belief that that's what she wants, and she's willing to accept anything for it. And I mean,
yes, Bertram, his true love passed away.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things. She needs to be honest with herself, because if she's honest with herself and ask herself why she's willing to accept this, then she needs to be equally willing to accept his behavior then. Because I mean, if being married is what you need and you feel like this is your last chance, it's either this or be single. Okay, then you got to make that decision.
But why is this her last chance? This is not her last chance.
You don't know. I mean, you don't know. I mean, I don't know how old she is. Maybe she's never been engaged. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to be alone.
Right, but again, she needs to go to therapy. Let's not leave that out.
Yeah, they both
need therapy.
He needs serious therapy.
Oh yeah, we know that. But she needs to go to therapy to be dealing with this and ask, how can I compete with a ghost? You can't compete with a person that's alive. If a man wants a woman that's alive, he's gonna go get that woman. If a man wants to dwell on the past, he's gonna dwell on the past. Well, men and women. So we have to stop trying to control people and understand that when they do things that's not what we want, we have to be willing to let go, or we're accepting it and it's no longer them, like you said. That's her. That's all you, boo. He ain't doing nothing that you're not allowing him to do. And poor behavior without consequences is more poor behavior. So every year that he been doing these things and you stayed, like, why would he stop doing it? Leave. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if you're worth it and you go, tell me if I'm wrong. If a person is worth it and they leave, you're going to straighten up and be like, oh.
You'll see what they mean to you.
You will. You'll be like, oh, I need to get my whole entire life together because this, without her or without him.
Right. I mean,
I can't breathe.
Sometimes you need that too. So.
You remember Boomerang? Eddie Murphy was like, yo, he had to go get his
That's my favorite movie of all time.
Is it? I love it. That's one of my favorites too, because Eddie Murphy was like, hey, I can't breathe without you. I was like,
that
so
is.
happy. So we're gonna do our final thoughts because it is 9 o'clock already. So what are your final thoughts for the people?
I appreciate everybody. I mean, I feel the love. You know, I feel the inquisitiveness. You know, the trust us. You know, so thank you. You know, thank you guys. You know, I'm not licensed or anything like that. I'm just a man that's been to therapy and has done a lot of work on himself. And for anybody to halfway think that I sound halfway intelligent in what I'm talking about, thank you. You know, I appreciate it. I really do.
Oh, Bertram said, ouch, no comment because I can relate to this situation. I needed to hear that from you, though, Trey.
Mm.
Birchman, I'm happy that this helped you because we are here not to judge anybody because these questions are coming like real questions and they're asking because they know that everybody's going to give their opinion because they're really at a crossroads in their life. And I don't know what it feels like to lose a spouse, right? And I'll probably call my sister-in-law to talk to her because my brother passed away in 2020 from a motorcycle accident. He was 1 year older than me, unexpected. So I don't know how that grieving process goes for the person that you love. And they were together, I think, over 25 years.
Wow.
So you wake up one day and they're gone. So I don't know, like if another person came in, how do you stop that on birthdays, on Christmas, on the special occasions, on their anniversary? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you just be like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore? Because we don't know because we haven't been there.
You know what? And I think when you're in a relationship and you are in a healthy relationship, I think that it's healthy to give that person permission. Like, you know, and nobody wants to think about anybody passing. Be like, baby, I want you to be happy. If I'm gone, I want you to be happy. And if you are mature enough to be able to have those conversations while both of y'all are still alive, that when you're gone, when one of you gone, that you can heal a little faster. You can heal a little better. Not that they're not going to miss you, but you said to them, I want you to be happy. You know, I want you to move on with your life. You know, and I think that those are conversations that I will have when the next woman I marry. So, you know, it's like, I'm going to have those conversations. I don't want you to be, you know, don't sit around and be sad. Man, go, because I'm going to leave you a bunch of money. Go have fun.
I know that's right. Right. That was so good. That was necessary to come out of this conversation. That just like we didn't think about all the conversations that we're having are conversations that nobody really thinks about because it's not important. You know what I'm saying? So to think that to say this to a person while you're still healthy, whole, and with that person, that I don't mind if you move on when I'm gone. Don't grieve me. It's powerful. I never even thought about having that because I'm not that chick. You don't move on too fast because I'm gonna be haunting you. I don't know. You better be moaning and groaning for at least 2 years. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. If I'm not here, I'm serious. I'm not serious, Lamar. But
as long as you didn't kill me, we good.
Right. Oh no. But no, seriously, that is an honorable thing for us to do for each other. Now that we're talking about it, to say, I would not want you to make another person feel this way. So wouldn't a strong set of standards protect both parties from staying too long, regardless of the circumstance? Oh, that must be from another question. So we are going to let y'all go. If you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love. I'm your host, Trey Kearney, and my co-host,
Lamar Hall.
We're here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Looking for Love. And we're just talking about conversations to bridge the gap between Generation X men and Generation X women to see where our miss is and how we can have happy, whole, healthy relationships without the divide that's going on social media. We're trying to bring people together and not pull each other apart. So we thank you guys for tuning in tonight. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm at Trey Kearney.
MAR_T_Hall13.
And if you would like to ask us a question, you can send an email to info@treykearney.com. Hold on, this thing is doing something. Okay. You can email us at info@treykearney.com, or you can DM us with a question. We take the DMs. I write them down because I'm on my phone, actually, so I can't read the DMs. But we will read your question. We will help you to the best of our ability. We'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with some more questions and maybe a different topic, because there's a couple people who asked me, Lamar, and I was going to run this by you so we can run it by the people, do a quick little survey. But there were people that were saying, could we talk about like celebrity things that are going on? You know, we send each other relationship stuff.
I don't want to talk the whole show about it. I was going to say like the last 15 minutes we can talk, bring everybody up to speed on the nonsense gossip world. So
okay, I was like,
you know the hot one this week was Drea.
Oh,
with the 22-year-old.
Shame on her. I'm sorry,
man. And
I say that respectfully as a mother of a 24-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 29-year-old.
I got a man's perspective on it, and then I'm not rich, but if I was a rich man, I have a different perspective on it too. So I think it's both parties. I think you got an older woman who has been very primed in this industry, and the things that we know about, you already know is doubly worse than what we already know. So that being said, why would a young man of 22 with such a bright future want to attach himself to a woman like that?
Because she manipulated him.
But I'm just saying, it's like he should have family, a man in his life, somebody, his mama. I mean, come on, his mama should be like, hold on.
I know y'all be sneaking off and doing stuff that y'all ain't got no business doing.
But he should have. They should have already had. They should have already. This kid has been a prodigy, so he is fulfilling his prodigy, and he's right on the cusp of getting the $250-300 million deal.
She knew that. Because she's been watching.
Exactly. So I'm saying is that there should have been an uncle, a father, a cousin, somebody of authority that should have, when he was in high school, to like, listen, we're going to walk into the lion's den, young man. And
but they have those conversations. I saw Deion Sanders. I think it was Deion Sanders had bought, I ain't going to call her a hoe, but had bought this woman who was promiscuous to talk to the team.
Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, you can say it.
Okay, to tell him that
we won't say her name because I don't need to sue me, but
yeah, we won't say her name. But he did that. Like he brought the woman in to talk to the young men to tell them this is a game. Like this is what women are doing. So do not get yourself caught up in this. But we all know that these are young people. This boy is young. We talking about all of us been young and dumb. So we can't put really a lot of the onus on him. Because we've all been young and dumb. I was 22. You know how dumb I was? I was dumb enough to get married at 21. I ain't had no business marrying nobody.
You didn't marry a 40-year-old man. It's for a 39-year-old woman to put herself in that type of position now she has 3 kids by 3 different men, and she is known as a pariah now. She was trying to shed that. When she left those TV shows, she was becoming an entrepreneur. She was trying to shed that. And then you get sucked right back into it. And now social media is way bigger than what it was. Now the dudes that were in the shadows, they heckling old buddy now. It's like, now you look foolish. And no man wants other men heckling behind his back about the woman that he thought he cared about.
Right, because remember the guy, now we done went into gossip mode. We ain't supposed to be doing this. But remember the guy that married Superhead. Like, no offense to anybody, but why would you marry Superhead?
I have no idea. I would have nightmares.
Right, but it's like if a regular guy that wasn't in the industry married her, because everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves a second chance, right? No.
You suck 1,000 penises. You don't deserve love.
Listen to me. Yes, you do. We all go through whatever she was going through. She needed the money. Listen to me. We've all done some dumb stuff. I ain't did nothing that dumb, but I've done some dumb stuff. So we're not judging her.
Yeah. I mean,
if she was with a guy that was outside of the industry that did not have to run into all of the penises that she sucked.
Man, you made that dude look like the worst sucker ever invented.
He did that. She didn't do it. He did that. He knew that.
So you're trying to tell me he was so green he didn't know who Superhead was?
No, he knew who she was. He just
she was brought to parties just to suck the soul out of everybody at the party. Like, man, like what?
Right.
That's what.
But I'm just saying, if she found a guy that wasn't in the industry where they could go and be somewhere where he didn't have to be subjected to, like a guy that nobody knew, like a regular guy on the street, could have been, have some money in another world, but you don't marry a woman that everybody in the industry has had their penis in their mouth, and you still have to walk in those circles, and people are looking at you like.
I don't understand why all the celebrities, whether you're an athlete, entertainer, what a rapper, why do they all like the same women?
I don't know. That's true.
You got so much money, man, go get you an Instagram model that just got on there yesterday. Like, man,
right.
She might have did some things, but if you 22, 23 years old, you ain't did that much like the 39-year-old. Like, are you crazy? Like, what
why just go get this beautiful people that are not Instagram models? There's women that are banging bodies that are not even on social media. If that's your bag.
We're talking about superficial athletes and people that don't live in the real world. This is how they date. They fall in, that's it. But like Kevin Durant fell into some chick from Oklahoma. She was a track star, some big old white girl, and everybody was like going crazy over that. But she was thick as hell. I was like, I would have slid in there too. She's in college. Scoop up. You crazy? Man, like, are you crazy?
We don't know how we went there. Oh, I know how we went there. We went there because the viewers have been asking me in my DMs, can we talk about some current events that are going on? And they were asking me my take on some things. And I said to myself, let me ask Lamar if he's comfortable with that, because we really don't want to go gossipy, but I get what they want. They want to know our opinion on these things too. Yeah. But I just want to make sure that we're teaching and growing as we go along. So we'll put a segment, 15 minutes at the end, to talk about current events, about relationships, right? Because this is a relationship-based podcast, so we want to keep it in retrospect of that. So again, we thank y'all again for tuning in to Looking for Love. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, New You Nation Network. Go watch the replays and tell us what you think. The last one is hot. Well, the one from 2 weeks ago is hot and heavy. I don't know why it's circulating again, but y'all go watch it. And we'll probably try to do a follow-up Friday if we can. I think Lamar will be traveling.
I'll be home for this Friday.
Okay, so we'll let y'all know. So y'all hold on to your hats, because y'all have a lot to say when y'all start looking at the snippets, and we'll come back and let y'all know. So we thank y'all again, because it is a privilege to be in your life, and we don't take that lightly. So we will see you guys next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for Looking for Love on the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Peace and blessings. We love y'all.
Thank you.